2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mechanics of Poetry, Season 2, Episode 15, I believe. I've been keeping track. And only 3 more episodes after this, then the season will be over. So it's been a delight seeing all these people's poetry. And today we have a poet by the name of, well, I know him as Bill Cushing. Yeah. And before we look at his poetry, I want to give Bill a chance to say whatever he likes first. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for letting me in on this routine. This is great. And I'm sort of, and I appreciate you fulfilling my weird request of having you read it and then analyze it. I tried to lay it out so that we're following kind of the evolution of my work, because the first one will be one of the in fact, the very first poem I ever wrote, really. The second one will be a more recent one. And then the third one is sort of a middle period, if you will. So we'll see how it goes.
We're ready.
All right.
All right. So here we go. This poem is called In Pink Neon. Chrome and black tile at breakfast again. Coffee so strong it pulls your eyelids back, going down. And while last evening's drunks with 5 a.m. shadows use it to try to face the new day, women, legs on spiked heels, lift leather skirts to reveal specialties of the house, initiating a physical negotiation, trading the tangible for currency. Enclosed cuffed hand, scalene triangle of whole wheat drips from sunny side up. A single waitress covers ground. Butter, warmed by sun, shining through slatted glass, slowly rolls down. A stack of browned pancakes. Silverware clatters, china against china, napkin falls, voices chatter. Well, outside, in pink neon, a sign glows. Best food in town. And it is. Applauso. Okay. All right, so that's unusual. I've never read before in the series, but I got a firsthand experience with it that way. That was pretty good. Right away, I'm getting a scenario. It's like a piece of cinema, right? You have the drunks. You have the women of the house, so to speak. And then the second stanza, there's a single waitress. So I guess that's the legitimate part of the establishment. Yeah, oh, wow, breakfast, yeah. All very vivid. And pretty much, something I've been saying all along in this series, my favorite poems tend to reflect how it's meant to be read out loud. And that really made it easy for me to read this out loud, that's for sure. It was meant to be read aloud. Is there anything you want to say about your poem?
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the cinematic comment.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, Don.
Yeah, I went to a workshop with Donald Justice, and he always said a good poem should appear like a film. And I've always used that standard when I'm reading poems. Could I design this as a movie or an opening of a movie? And the really good ones, I think, do. This one was fun because I say this is actually the first poem I ever wrote after I decided to get into it.
And, wow, that's pretty accomplished for a first poem.
Well, I was also 37 years old at the time, too. So. And not
vocabulary too. I'm always pointing out to people it's good to have a vocabulary, There's a vocabulary in here.
And the other thing, though, on this one, and I hope I pulled it off, I was thinking of Tom Waits the whole time I was writing it. I was hoping to capture some of his, if not rhythms, at least his attitude. So I've always liked this one, for the first one, I think, came out pretty well.
Got a little bit of everything. Got some sweet alliteration in there too. Sun shining through slatted glass, slowly rolls. Nice. All right. Well, okay. So let's see how you progressed in the next poem.
All right, and this is one that's in my newest book actually, and
And in order to show it, I think you have to take this one
that was
away.
there we go.
Yeah, you got to take. Oh no, it's just scroll down. Oh man,
Yeah.
you're a pro. You're a pro.
Now, I
Take it
hope
away,
this
sir.
is readable. What I did was I superimposed this last book, of course, has the artwork as well as the poetry, and this is actually the poem that inspired the book's title and the book itself in many ways. I hope people could read it. I tried to boldface the interior part. So can you see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good enough. So this just in, and it's an ekphrastic design based on Louisiana Zombie Afternoon by Gen Z, who is the artist. Dateline, Louisiana, 10th April. After months of zombie hunts and wrangling, the Morton Salt girl finally went postal. In jade silhouette, a ponytail hanging, charmingly free, and the left hand dangling along her skirt's pleats, she grips a pistol. An ocular sun rises and halos her head in black-red ombre. Burning pot rises from the joint she holds. Her feral victims in unseen gore have all been shot.
Oh my God. Woo. Yep, that's ekphrastic, all right. Yeah. Your poem made me see the details that I overlooked before. That's why it's such a good marriage.
Nice.
Paintings and poems, photos and poems.
Mhm. Yeah, and Gen Z I've really come to appreciate. I've done some other poems off of her work. I think she's British, as I recall. But yeah, her artwork is very bizarre. And this was when I started getting into ekphrastic, this was the first one. Also, it kind of relates. One of the things I've tried to start doing is moving toward more formal structures. Like I use the design uh, form in this one, and I've done some OVAs and just all kind and odes and madrigals and sonnets, and so I'm trying to get back to the more classical stuff. Um, Although the topic material is not exactly Renaissance stuff.
Fine job, sir. Fine job. You
Thank
got to point out these things again, but people are probably blue in the face from hearing it from me. Great vocabulary, an ocular sun, red, black. What is that word?
Ombre, I think it's pronounced ombre.
Oh,
Ombre.
is that a color?
Yeah, it's the combination of black and red.
Makes perfect sense.
Which the only reason I put the black red in there, even though it's sort of redundant, is because of the syllable count you need in the
It
form.
seems a very key word is feral here, right?
Yeah, yeah, the feral victims. Well, when she titled the thing "Zombie Afternoon," I was picturing, that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think the Morton Salt girl came to me first because as soon as I saw that silhouette, I was like, "It looks like the Morton Salt girl, armed and smoking a joint." I was like, "This is a great image."
I like to think you brought that to the poem. Yeah. All right, 2 for 2. Let's see that third one now. I'm doing the third one.
Yeah, now you do the third one, and I picked it. And this is this is actually the final poem in my first book, The Former Life, but I picked it because of the day. So,
All right, we're getting a true sampling of your poetic career here.
okay.
Final flight. Oh, hey, I already know what this is about. Today, 20 years ago,
Yep.
I slept through
That's
those.
why I asked for the date.
Whoops, go ahead, sir.
That's why I asked for this date.
Yeah, well chosen, well played. I slept through those initial collisions. The twin explosions as steel and fuel met concrete and girder, where the final collapse into rock and powder of two towers meant as monuments to the grandeur of their century. I saw it from a safe distance, not living through events except for my own recall. I can still note those, retrieve the day, But the singular image I cannot shed, the one that refuses to leave my head, is that of those people, the 200 left, who, facing the option of burning alive, knowing at that moment they were indeed dead, chose instead, like Icarus, to spread their arms in an almost welcome embrace of the quarter-mile journey back to Earth. Oh, yeah. How can anyone forget that? Yeah, yeah. Whew. Yeah, I too have a similar story. I was asleep and I was a safe distance away, but you couldn't escape it. Couldn't escape it. And the implications thereafter reverberate to this day. That's for sure. And this is another thing. I was just talking to a poet about this. Avoid repeating words unnecessarily unless you have a reason to repeat them. And here you've got twin explosions in the powder of two towers. So it's a conscious choice to use a different word. And that just makes it all the more impressive, I think, to an editor. I'm an editor. And I find that impressive that a person goes to the trouble of making sure they have a variety of language there instead of just the easy route. You're really crafting it carefully, right? This is very carefully considered. The interior rhyme there with shed and head, loved it. I even paused there on purpose to emphasize that rhyme because I had a feeling, maybe that's what the author wants. So I went with it. Yeah, wow, that was one of the most mind-blowing things about a mind-blowing day. Those people that they only had two options. Wow. It makes me think about Miami. Was that Miami where that tower fell recently?
Oh,
the residential tower.
The condo, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like 1:30 in the morning, I think it was.
Yeah.
So people were asleep. Some people probably never woke up.
Yeah.
But what if you were awake at that time? Oh my goodness, what a thing to experience. Yeah. Well, a fabulous tour, which leaves me with one burning question. And I already know the answer, but I'm gonna let you give the answer. And that is, how can people acquire the poetry?
Well, of course, I have. I'm on a couple of websites, the Poem Hunter, and I don't know if you know the Line of Poetry. It's actually an English website out of Norway where they allow you to post stuff. My books, of course, hey, I'm on Amazon, but I always tell people, especially locally, if you want to work out a deal where I can get you a signed copy, just email me at the Pisces Poet, that email address.
Email, okay.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, I'm a fan of your poetry, particularly those music poems. I was so enamored of those.
Yeah, and I think I gave you the revamped version of that, didn't I?
And yet it's a common thing that happens, a chapbook becoming a book. It's happened to several of the chapbooks.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that. It gets a first class look.
No, thanks. Yeah, that was fun though. I enjoyed putting it together and then reformatting it into that slicker version with the real nice paper and all that stuff. The fancy stuff.
I'm glad to be in. I humbly wanted to praise your poetry.
Oh, thanks.
I won't be able to get that book.
Well, you've been fun to work with. I mean, you're one of the first guys, I guess, when I got back into it and started writing more seriously, I guess around, oh God, I guess it would be about 5 or 6 years ago. I sort of dropped out for a while, because of our son, and taking care of him. But then when I got back into it, Spectrum was certainly one of the venues I've taken full advantage of whenever I can.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's what we're here for. We want to promote poets in any way we possibly can.
And,
And on that happy note, we're going to finish up here the recording so that I can get this up on YouTube straight away. And the link's up on Facebook so people can find you fast.
yeah, and if you want, please go ahead and put my email address up there if anybody wants to get in touch
Okay,
with
you
me.
gave me permission.
Yep,
You got it. You got it.
absolutely.
Okay, recording ending now.